Hi everyone, it's Andrea over at Sewspire.com, and I am here today to show you how to sew the tote bag organizer, which we collaborated all week on. The new design actually is quite different with the exception of the size. I really am pleased with how it turned out. You can see that here. There are flap closures on either side, so you can lift the bag in and out without losing the contents. And then likewise, you can make a couple of these, and if you're like me and you wear a lot of different hats and serve your community and family in a lot of different ways, you can have one packed for each adventure and then just pop that right in your tote bag. So you have the two flaps there, and then there's a two-way divided interior compartment. I love that feature because then I'm even able to organize the contents of that giant tote I have. Then on the outside are two wide elasticized pockets and two narrow pen slips. I repeated that configuration on this side, and then there are two decent sized elasticized pockets on either side. So in total we have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 areas to organize a tote that otherwise just had a few pockets, you remember. I'm excited to load this up, and I'll be sure to share pictures with you at the end of the video of what it looks all loaded up. So shall we get started? Okay, we're going to begin by crafting the interior compartments. There are two of them. They are identical. I have already made one. It looks like this here. And we're going to craft the second one. All of these pattern measurements are in the notes field. You're going to need two body panels, which measure 10 by 16, a base panel, which is 4 by 16, and two side panels, which are 4 by 10. You're going to take those sides and lay those right sides facing on either side of one of the body panels. You can use a pen to hold those in place, and then using 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, you're going to attach those side panels on the right and the left side. And now you have a tri-fold panel with the sides attached. Set that aside. Take your base panel and attach that to the base of the remaining body panel, and then stitch all the way along that bottom edge to attach that. And now you have something that looks like that. You're going to open up that panel with the sides, and then take that panel with the base and position that right sides facing, and just align the base of both panels and stitch all the way across that to create one larger panel. Okay, now you should have something that looks like a fat T. So you have your sides there, and then your bottom with the base. And you're going to now attach the sides of the side to the side of that remaining panel and stitch from the top to the bottom. Go ahead and repeat that process for the other side. And now your interior compartment is really taking shape. You just have to close up those two holes in the bottom there. And the way you do that is just align the base of the side with the side of the base and stitch finger to finger. Okay, now that second interior compartment is complete. You want to take that top edge and fold that over approximately an inch, and then go ahead and press that flat at the iron, and then you'll duplicate that process to create two interior compartments. which I have here, and I'm going to set aside while we craft the flaps, because those are centered right in between the two compartments. So to finish the interior, we need to make the flaps. So for this, you're going to need 2 pieces of material that are 7 inches tall by 14 inches wide, and you'll duplicate this process twice to create 2 flaps, and I have one here that I will show you. This is what the finished flap looks like, and it has a piece of hook and loop tape attached to that. So I already have that first flap done. So take these 2 pieces and right sides facing, and then stitch down the sides and across that face. And then turn that right side out, poke out those corners, and go ahead and press everything nice and flat. It's my almost complete flap. I want to find the center point on that, and then attach the soft side of a piece of sew-on hook and loop tape. This measures 5 inches, and I'm just going to center that and attach it approximately 1/2 inch from the bottom of that flap. I'll stitch down both long ends. Okay, now I want to bring back over those interior compartments, and I'm going to align those interior seams. So I have one compartment on this side and one on this side, and I want to go ahead and align those interior seams, and then I'm going to take the flaps, which are going to fold outward on the bag. So you want to put the exterior portion of the flap, the part that you want to see on the outside, facing inward, so that hook and loop tape is on either side, and those are nicely aligned. And you're going to sandwich those in between those 2 center panels, and leave yourself about 1 inch there, and then go ahead and pin all of this together. So you have 1 compartment and 2 flaps all pinned together. I put a pin on each end and then one in the center so nothing shifts. Okay, so this is what that looks like now on either side. And I just want to stitch from seam to seam here on that interior to secure those 2 compartments together and the flaps. Now the interior is complete for now, so you should have something that looks like this when you hold it up, and we're just going to set that aside and craft the exterior. Okay, for this you're going to be working with front and rear body panels that are the same measurements, 16 by 10, side panels that are 6 by 10, and a base panel that is 16 by 6. So I have crafted, the 2 sides are identical as is the front and the rear. So this is what our side panel looks like, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And this is what the front and rear panel looks like, and I will show you how to create that as well. So let's begin with the long pocket that'll span across the front of this bag. You're going to need 2 pieces of material that measures 6 by 24 inches. You're going to take those and position them right sides facing and stitch along that top edge end to end. And then take this piece of material and fold that over so that the lining is facing out, and then you have your exterior fabric, and go ahead and press that at the iron. So this long lined piece of fabric is going to create your front pocket there. You're going to stitch using 3/4 of an inch seam allowance. You're going to stitch all the way down that top edge to create a channel in which we're going to feed the elastic. Okay, now the pocket is complete. You're going to fold that in half and determine where center is, and then mark center on your body panel. And you're going to go ahead and position those raw edges of that pocket at the base, and you'll have overlap on either side because you're going to center the pocket on that panel, put a pin in it at center, and then bring in those outer edges so that they meet on the right and the left hand sides of that body panel, and go ahead and pin those in place. And then now you're going to take this little hump here and fashion a pleat in the center of each side. You're going to pin down those pleats, and then using a large safety pin and a 16-inch long piece of 1/4 inch elastic, you're going to thread the elastic through that channel that we created, and this is going to gather up and elasticize those pleats and the top of that pocket. So you want to be careful when you pull that through not to lose the tail of the elastic. As soon as you get that to the edge, go ahead and put a pin through everything to hold it while you tidy up your elastic and your gathers. You just want to make sure there's an even amount of fabric on either side of center. And once you are satisfied with how those gathers are, then you can divide this pocket any way you like. I'm going to divide it in half, and then I'm going to put 2 more rows of stitching on either side of half to create 2 pen slips. So that I'm going to begin by securing this elastic on either end with a forward and backward stitch. Then I'm going to secure those pleats, and then I will divide the pocket. Okay, now I have this front panel finished. I want to attach the rough edge or the hook side of that Velcro 2.5 inches from the top of this panel and at the center, and you're just going to stitch across the top and the bottom of that Velcro. Now we're going to craft that remaining side panel, and that looks like this, and it has the elasticized pocket as well. So for this you're going to need 2 pieces of material that are 6 inches tall by 8 inches wide. You're going to position those right sides facing and then stitch across that top edge. And same thing, head on over to the iron and press that lining out so your pocket looks nice and neat. Then along that top edge we're going to use the 3/4 inch seam allowance to stitch the gusset for the elastic. And you'll take your remaining exterior side panel, which is 6 inches wide by 10 inches tall, and position that pocket at the center point. And you can fold that to determine center. You're going to put a pin in the center there, and then bring those outer edges over to meet the edge of that side panel. And then remove that center pin to create a center pleat. You do the same thing, just create that little hump and then even that out so it looks good to you, and put some pins in it to hold that pleat. And then take a 6-inch piece of 1/4-inch elastic, and using your safety pin, thread that elastic through that top channel that we just created. And then catch the tail there of the elastic before you pull that all the way through. And go ahead and put a pin to hold the elastic. And then, like we did before, you'll stitch the elastic in place, stitch the pleat in place. And then you'll duplicate that process to create 2 elasticized side pockets. We're going to now bring over both the front and the rear panels, and then, working with your choice, position those sides, right sides facing on either side, and you can pin those in place and then stitch down the right and the left hand sides to attach those to that front panel. Okay, and now you have a tri-panel like that with the sides attached. Set that aside. Bring over the rear panel and the base of the exterior, which is 6 by 16. Position that base right sides facing along the bottom edge of that rear panel and stitch across that to attach. So there you have your panel with the base. Then bring back over your side panel and go ahead and lay that base panel atop of that and align the base of the base with the other panel, and then stitch finger to finger there to attach. And again, now you have something that resembles a large T. Now we're going to align the sides with the sides, just as we did for those interior pieces. Your exterior at this point is really taking shape, you can see. Now we just have to close up those holes at the bottom. Same process as the interior, just align the side of the base with the base of the side and stitch seam to seam. Now the exterior is complete. Go ahead and turn that right side out. Then you're going to fold that top edge an inch, fold it inward an inch, and press that at the iron. Okay, it should look like this. And now the fun part, it's time to fit that interior inside. You're going to need to align those side seams first. So go ahead and put a pin in that and align all 4 of those side seams. And then after you have the sides aligned, then you can put a couple of pins in the front and the back. Okay, so now you have something that looks like this, and it's already super duper cute. We want to craft 2 handles for the sides here. So let's set this aside. The handles are going to be made from a piece of material that is 6 inches wide by 10 inches long. I have one of those made. To craft the handle, you fold that fabric in half, press it, and then open that up and bring those outer edges in to meet on that center press line, and then fold that over. One more time to fashion the handle, and just top stitch the open end and then the folded end. Okay, and the second handle is complete, and you're just going to center that on the side panel to create a little loop. These are very short handles, so you just want to be able to lift it in and out. So that's what the side handles look like there when they're attached, and those are just going, the ends are being tucked in between the interior and exterior layers, right up against those side seams. And that's what that looks like. This is just adorable. Obviously the contents will be what gives this its body. So go ahead and open up the flaps, because we have to pin those together so they don't get in the way, so that we can stitch all the way around the edge of this. So you have that center compartment. So what you're going to do there is start at that center seam and stitch all the way around one side. So it's like basically you're making a big U. You're going to come all the way around here, reinforce with the handle, then pull that off the machine deck, flip the flap over to the other side, and repeat stitching from that center seam all the way around like a big U, reinforcing the handle until you get at the center, okay? And just move nice and slow. It helps to remove that machine deck. So I made it all the way around. This turned out super cute. I've got 4 pockets on the front and the back, 2 side pockets, and then a 2-way divided interior compartment. This is really the ultimate in tote bag organizers, and I'm very excited to load up my bag with this new and improved design. I want to thank you all for contributing. This was our first go at the new tutorial layout, which basically is going to be, I'll introduce the design in the blog post, you'll help me refine it, and then I'll make the tutorial. So this is the first. I think it went great. There's almost no comparison other than the size between the 2 designs. And another added bonus to this was I was able to use the original design for a week, so I could see too where the design was lacking or what elements I wanted to change. But thank you all for contributing. I hope you enjoyed the project. I will be back soon with another inspired project. Be sure to check out the next blog for the project so you can contribute. Until then, as always, please know the creative genius in me celebrates the creative genius in you. Have a beautiful day, everyone.